Let's talk about other challenges. Liverpool. Lots of change there, and they fell off a cliff last year, 60 points. That's the worst total by a top 5 side in nearly 20 years. They sacked the man that won them the title just 12 months earlier. There was a little bit of angst at Liverpool, which you're not used to seeing, especially just so quickly after a title success. Andoni Iraola has been handed the opportunity to take charge of this team. What do you make of that appointment, and how quickly has he got to hit the ground running? Because going back to his Bournemouth days, it took him a little while to get his feet under the table.
Yeah, he lost the first 10 games, didn't he, if I remember correctly?
He failed to win them, yeah.
Yeah, failed to win, and a lot of pressure. I don't know why, but Liverpool have been really interesting to me this off-season. So I've been watching a lot of their YouTube content that they've been putting out in regards to the training sessions and their games. Everything he's doing there is very similar to Bournemouth in regards to defensive shape and hitting on the counter-attack and getting forward very, very quickly. I watched their game against Monaco, and I know they end up losing that once they make all the changes. But they look very impressive going forward, and it is a little bit more like what Klopp would do. It's go forward quick, attack. They're not necessarily getting to the edge of the box like a Chelsea, like a Man City, and waiting and trying to probe and break people down. So it looks good. I think Isak is going to have an unbelievable year. I think he's got a lot of haters, none bigger than Alex Crook sat to your right there, who was questioning whether he's good enough and if he's been a flop last year, if I remember correctly. So him and Wirtz have got a lot to prove, and they look like they've had a really good pre-season.
He's frowning here. Why are you frowning?
No, I like Isak.
You did question whether or not the money was right for someone who had an injury record like he did.
Well, and that was proven correct, wasn't it? Because he missed most of the season injured. But when he's fit, I think he's top. I think he looked good in places for Sweden in the World Cup. He's had a decent pre-season by all accounts. But there's always a question mark. Is he going to stay fit? And with no Ekitike, they need him to. The other player I think has got a big season this year, particularly because they've not replaced Mo Salah, is Yang Ngamoa. He's the type of player that Iraola will get the best out of.
You pulled your hair out, didn't you, in the summer, bearing in mind that he was the best player in that friendly game, and then they realised that they couldn't call him and add into the squad because he wasn't in the 55. It was frustrating, but obviously he's still a kid and he's still a lot.
Well, I think there's a reason, Troy, why they've not replaced Mo Salah, because they're looking at a left-sider in Bradley Barcola, but he's not the Salah replacement, is he?
No, I don't know. I think what they're looking at is, can they get what Salah brings from 3 or 4 different people? I think Mo Salah, again, I'm not putting him in the world class bracket, but I think he's exceptional, and I think he gives you massive numbers. But if Man United, if we move it away, Man United were to get rid of Bruno, it'd be very hard to go and get someone who could give you that amount of goals and assists from one player. So try and spread it over 3 or 4, and I think that's where the Barcola comes in, that's where Wirtz comes in, and that's where the 2 guys in Ekitike, when he eventually gets back, and Isak should give you those numbers.